Hey, Rhythm Droid here. Good to see you again. Welcome to my living room slash jamming area. So I'm making a setup here, and it's all based around the Pioneer DJM V10, and I've selected carefully which instruments I'm going to use. I don't have a ton of space, but it's a decent amount of space to try and have a couple very fun toys or tools, however you want to look at them. The first thing you can see from the angle that you're at right now is that I have some elements raised. Can you see that? I'm not going to use this piece of, or this roll of tape, because it's just sort of a placeholder to remind me that I've got to lift this chord radius up, and I've got to lift this other stuff up as well too. So Pioneer DJ Squid, that will be sequencing mostly the digitone keys and the chord radius. Chord radius is a poor man's access virus, so it's a multi-timbral virtual analog synthesizer with a lot of knobs, which are now flimsy after over a decade of hardcore tweaking. So you'll notice that the Squid is raised up a little bit. I want to do that to have it just a little bit more ergonomic, so I don't have to reach over things. And it also allows all the cables to be nicely concealed. Same thing is going on with the Analog Rhythm, but of course, as you can see, I'm just raising these things up with rolls of tape. It's not a good idea. So I got this for $2. It's just a little home organizer thing. Boom, that's better. Way better than a roll of masking tape. Look at that. Boom, that feels a lot better. And I still got to do something with the radius, but at least now I have 4 rolls of tape. 2 of them are the same height, so that's actually pretty stable. All right, what next? Well, I could tell you what pieces of gear are on here. Chord radius, Pioneer DJ Squid, Electron Digitone keys, that's a 8-voice FM synthesizer, digital FM. And then this is probably, I would probably consider this the main brain. Most of the bulk of the songs that I'll be playing on this setup will be coming from the Electron Analog Rhythm Mark II. A great machine, and I've spent a lot of time in the Analog Rhythm platform working and developing muscle memory and really getting a good workflow on this device. I find that I can compose when an instinct comes for a certain kind of rhythm, I can very quickly program it out on this thing. And the ability to program something interesting and rhythmically pleasing very quickly definitely weighs out over the fact that, well, all the sounds are mono and they're a little bit muffled because they're running through some analog stages like filter and VCA and stuff like that. I think primarily the filter stage on each of the voices muffles the tone just a little bit. Like if you put this thing, if you A-B an Electron Analog Rhythm with an Electron Digitone, the Digitone is just like, it's like pulling wool away from your ears. Like it's so crystalline and clear. So Analog Rhythm Mark II and Mark I, they're just slightly on the muffled side in the higher frequency range. But that's okay, because that's not the, it's not going to kill a good song. Finally, for analog bassline purposes and 303 clone type sounds, I've got my handy Zox box, which is a DIY TB303 clone, and then I hired Brian Castro from Abstract Instruments to do the Zoxio modifications. We can talk about that another time. All right, so that's it. Drums, melodic stuff, and acid stuff and bassy stuff over here. That's pretty much it, and it's all going to be mixed in with the Pioneer DJ DJM V10. Don't call them Pioneer. They're called Pioneer DJ. Remember that. It's not Pioneer. These aren't laser discs we're dealing with. We're dealing with house music. So when I plug in a live performance setup like this, I have a particular order that I do it in. It's power, then MIDI, then audio. I do power first. I mean, MIDI and audio can be interchangeable if you want to set up the audio first, the audio cables first, and then the MIDI cables, whatever. But I set up power first so that I can really sort of get all the power cables in one area, try and consolidate them as much as possible so that when I finally plug in the audio, I can make sure that the audio cables and the power cables are really, really separated, because you don't want audio cables and power cables crossing too many times. Otherwise, you may pick up some hum and interference, and that will build up more and more and more the more times your setup does that. The more times you're kind of infecting the audio signal with a little bit of hum from a power line, the more that will contribute overall to a raised noise floor, which is not good. You don't want noise if that's not what you're going for. So to eliminate excess noise, I avoid intersecting the power cables and the audio cables. All right, point is given. For this one, I'm deciding to have these as close to me as possible to sort of collect the devices here as possible so that it gives me some room right here so that I can have my green surface, you know, as much of an unbroken amount of the green surface as I can, so that I can sort of chroma key in various graphics or whatever I choose. Positioning wise, the Zox box is going to be here because all the wires coming out of the DJ mixer are going to actually cover over the first half of the Zox box. So that's okay because I don't use that half. This is just for programming in stuff. I'm not going to program in stuff. I'm going to sequence the Zox box from the Pioneer DJ Squid. All right, so let's go ahead and plug in the audio cables. I'm sorry, let's go ahead and plug in the power cables.